guys, Prowl1701 here, and today we're going to be reviewing the second Doctor, and we're going to be looking at the Seeds of Death, one of the few complete Troughton stories. This, of course, is from Season 6, and the second story to feature the Ice Warriors, because as you can see, they're right there on the cover. Now, I've only seen Seeds of Death. I can't remember if it's once or twice. It's once or twice. I think it's twice. It's been a while. I'll talk about the first 3 episodes in the first part of this video, and then I'll talk about the last 3 episodes in the second part of the video. I'm enjoying it thus far, more so than I remember. The Troughton Ice Warrior stories tend to be my least favorite Ice Warrior stories, but I've been enjoying this a lot. The story it's not overly complicated. It's a bit simplistic. A couple issues with the story: the fact that everything is so reliant on T-Mat. The idea that it might never break down seems odd. You figure they'd have backup plans in place here just in case, because T-Mat, of course, is teleporting things from the moon all around the Earth. That's what it does. The T-Mat service is based on the moon and does all of the teleporting on Earth. That's how food, supplies, medicine get to all locations on Earth at this time. And so you would think there would be backups in place, or there'd be more than one T-Mat. Oh, the T-Mat's out, switch to backup location. So it's a little simplistic in that. And also the fact that Miss Kelly seems to be the only one that knows how to do it. If we lose Kelly, we're doomed. Stuff like that. The fact that all of this would be in the knowledge of one person, or perhaps 2, because I think that Olga guy at the beginning who got killed early in episode 1 seemed to have had a lot of knowledge about it too. You know, you figured there'd be a lot of people who understood how to work on this thing. Because you never know when somebody's going to have an accident, car accident, fall, die in their sleep, who has this knowledge. So you're going to want to have more than one people with knowledge to work this thing. So the fact that we must have Kelly. If Kelly can't do it, no one can. Just everything being reliant on her seems odd. So that's a couple weak points with the story there. It's very simplistic. It's a 60s Doctor Who story. It's a bit simplistic in that. Other than that, I'm enjoying it. I'm liking the cast so far. The actress playing Miss Kelly is really good. Very businesslike, very professional. I like her. The guy who's in charge of the station on Earth, the kind of one with the gray hair, I like him. I've seen him in something else. He must be in another Doctor Who or something. Either that or some other show. I've seen him in something. He looks very familiar. The guy who's on the moon base who's helping the Cybermen just because he's scared, I like him. He looks familiar. I'm trying to figure out if he's the same guy who plays in the Space Pirates and Monster of Peladon. I can't tell if that's him or not. Looks kind of like him, but I'm not sure. But the actor playing him is doing a very good job of playing this guy who's just utterly terrified of the situation he's in and is just trying not to die, which at this point in the story he hasn't at the halfway point. The Ice Warriors are realized well. They're lumbering around a bit. It's a little hard sometimes to take the Ice Warriors seriously here because they're just kind of shuffling around. Again, it's a 60s story. Nobody knew Doctor Who was going to be where it is now, and people would be looking at it in 2024 with that kind of critical eye when it was made. The sets look really nice. I actually really like the sets, the space station set, the museum on Earth, the Earth base where they run T-Mat set, the rocket. I actually like the set for the rocket. I love the rocket. The model work looks really nice. It's 60s model work, but I like it. It's adorable. And I love the fact that it's that long missile-looking rocket, like you see in old Looney Tunes cartoons and stuff. And it looks so quaint now. It looks so quaint when I see it. But I love it. I live for it. And the little cramped rocket room the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe are in, I like that. I like the one guy who's managed to kill like 2 of the Cybermen, the one who's got the little trap set up with the solar power room. I like the actor playing him. He's also still around at this point. I love the fact he's managed to take out 2 Cybermen with that trap. How he keeps his head in the situation. So I'm liking him a lot. Troughton is, of course, stealing it, as he always does. I love the second Doctor. All of the little things Troughton is doing with not just his lines, but how he speaks his lines, his facial expressions, his body language, what he's doing with his hands. I always love that about Troughton. The bit when he's running away from the Ice Warriors does get a little pantomime almost when he's running away. It has that very famous shot of him with all the mirror images when he's... I love that shot. And there's one point when he thinks he gets away from him just to turn around and see him again. I love what he does with his face, because he's pleased that he got away until he realizes he hadn't. It's basically like this. He's like, I love it. He's smiling as he turns around, and he's like, oh crap, and then takes off. I love the way Troughton runs. It's very comedic. I just love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, he's doing a lot of good things in this story. I love the bit when they're in the rocket and the rocket starts smoking because some of the circuits burnt out. And Jamie's just like, it's just like being in the TARDIS. It's the perfect line for Jamie to say. And the way Fraser delivers the line sells it. It's just like being in the TARDIS. Stuff going wrong and breaking. I actually did laugh out loud when that happened. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And I love the fact that this is set when the Doctor can't steer the TARDIS, you know, back when in the 60s when it just kind of went wherever it was going to go. So they can't just use the TARDIS to travel to the moon. I like that. I like the fact they're having to take this long way approach with the rocket. Because even when they mention, well, can't we use the TARDIS? And Zoe's like, we'll probably overshoot it by 1,000,000 years. And the Doctor's like, or 1,000,000 miles. Because they can't take that easy way out and just use the TARDIS. I like that. So it sets up the problem of having to use the rocket. I love the guy who built the rocket, the kind of older guy. There's a scene at the beginning when he's holding the Doctor and everybody at gunpoint until the Doctor starts fawning over the model of the rocket. And as soon as like the rocket inventor realizes the Doctor's kind of a kindred spirit, he goes, oh yeah, let me show you. Just sets the gun down and they both start talking about the rocket. I just love how just without thought he sets the gun. It's so hilarious. He just, oh yeah, let me show you, just sets it down, even though he doesn't know these people at all. And then they start fawning over the rocket. And Jamie and Zoe are like, yep, just like two little kids. I love that scene. And the way that the guy who built the rocket and Patrick Troughton play that scene together, I love it. I love it. The second Doctor does come across as an adult kid sometimes, just this kid in an adult's body with his curiosity and his sense of wonder and his sense of excitement and joy. He's a very innocent Doctor, and I love that about him. But with his sense of doing the right thing, like going up in the rocket, you know, having to go rescue what Mr. Filch or whatever his name is, the engineer guy. The fact he's doing all of that by himself. I love the scene, too, when the Cybermen finally catch him, how he's wrestling with the door. And then he turns around and sees him, and he's like, your leader will be angry if you kill me. I'm a genius. I love the way Troughton does that, because he knows he's about to get killed. They're like, you know, we're supposed to kill you. He's like, you don't have orders to kill me, and your leader will be upset if you kill me. I'm a genius. There's a reason why Troughton's one of my favorite Doctors. I'm enjoying the story more so than I remember. Maybe the second half will let it down. I'm not sure, but I'm enjoying it. The camera work is nice. I always love the effect when the Cybermen kill people, that weird reflection thing, because I think they do that effect with a mirror, with it warping. That's a pretty cool effect, again, for a 60s Doctor Who episode. Naturally, an episode made, what, 1968, 1969 is not going to look like a 2024 episode. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. You know, it's just story. It's just focusing on the story. There's nothing controversial about the Seeds of Death. There's no controversy. There's no you fall on this side or you fall on this side. There's no dividing the fandom with the Seeds of Death. You either like the story or you don't like the story. Or you fall somewhere in the middle on the story where, you know, you don't necessarily love it, you don't necessarily hate it. It's just somewhere in the middle for you. That's what I'm enjoying that. Just watching a Doctor Who story where I can just watch a Doctor Who story. It's great. It's great. The only divide in the fandom over it should be whether or not you think it's a good story or not. And I'm absolutely having a ball with that. So I'm going to go watch part 2, which will be, well, the second half, I should say, which will be episodes 4, 5, and 6. And then we'll talk about that. All right, and we're back for part 2 of The Seeds of Death. One of the rare complete Troughton stories. There's only 7 of those. The second half was good. I think I like the first half better. It does drag a little. Not bad. Not as bad as I remember. It's like, would it have worked as a 4-parter? Maybe 5 parts. I think 5 parts would have been good for this. One odd thing is the one guy who's been kind of the tough guy for most of the story up to episode 4. The guy who managed to rig up the room, kill a couple of the Ice Warriors. It's weird in episode 4. He suddenly gets claustrophobia. I mean, he's running around in these tight corridors a lot up to that point, and then suddenly he doesn't remember the way to go, and he's got claustrophobia. And so he's like, "What's wrong?" "Oh, you're claustrophobic." And it's just weird. It's so out of nowhere, out of left field. It's so out of character from what we've seen from this guy. For him to suddenly just be like, I don't know. Where they're gonna find us? Well, stop yelling or they'll hear us. It's so weird. It's like, honestly, it's like the episode needed some padding, and they didn't quite know how to go about it. So like, well, let's stretch this scene out real quick and just make him afraid. And that doesn't make sense. It's totally out of character for him. Yeah, but nobody's ever going to see these again. We're going to air it one time and it's over. Matter of fact, just to make sure, tell Frank to make sure he wipes these episodes afterwards, right? Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, Frank, make sure you wipe these episodes after they air. Frank's over there going, yeah, okay. You see? We have Frank's laziness to thank that we have the Seeds of Death complete. We should all give a round of applause to Frank and his inherent laziness. So that's out of character. And I was still sad when the guy got killed at the end of episode 4, although he did go out trying to warn Zoe. And Zoe just standing there. I do like the fact the cowardly guy kind of finds his own at the end. It's either episode 5 or episode 6, where he finally snaps out of it, realizes the situation he's in, and flips on the video link so the Doctor and everybody on Earth can hear the Ice Warriors' plans, and that enables... I mean, it saves the day. He really does save the day doing that, because the Doctor realizes that he's purposely switched it on and says, record this. Can you record this? Yes. Well, hurry up, man. Hurry up. I love Troughton. He's so good in this story. And so they can record to get that signal and send up the fake signal with the satellite. There's still some convenience going on here. Like they managed to get the weather to work to beat the fungus all over the cities. I mean, was the Earth one, was the one that got destroyed the only one that controlled all the weather everywhere? Or did each city have its own that had to get repaired? And the Doctor's not in every city, so how did they get them all repaired? Or were they all controlled by this one spot, this one box? Again, that seems putting all of your eggs in one basket to have one box that controls the weather everywhere. What if it breaks? It seems a little plot convenient that the Doctor can just twist a few wires together and, oh, rain everywhere, and it stops the fungus. It seems a little too easy, a little too simplistic. I do love the scene when the Doctor pulls out all the wires, when he's underneath it with the knife and he opens it up. He's just got all those wires in his hand. He's like, I remember when he did it, I was like, oh dear. Oh, a lot of Troughton's mannerisms had me chuckling. I did love some of the cliffhangers, though. The story has some good cliffhangers. I love, I think it's the cliffhanger of episode 5 when he's trying to get in the door and the ball's up and he's just like holding the little napkin over his face and he's like, his little handkerchief or whatever. That's pretty cool. The performance of the Ice Warriors are good. They're slow, lumbering things, but they're good. Especially the little cyber leader guy who's running around. The Cyber Lord or whatever he's called. Am I saying Cyber Lord? That's weird. The Ice Lord or whatever he's called. I forget. Yeah, the Ice Warriors. They're very lumbering, but he's a little thinner, so I like his performance a lot. The camera works really good here. The incidental music, there are times where it really, I liked it, especially in like chase scenes. I liked it. Most of the time, I don't even notice it though. Like, I think I was 3 episodes in before, and I would just stopped at one point, and I was like, is there incidental music? I'm not sure if there is incidental music. I think it was like episode 3 before I finally realized there was incidental music. Because I never noticed it, except for in some of these action scenes or chase scenes or fight scenes. And it was fine. I mean, it wasn't blowing me out of the water, but it was fine. It got the job done. It was okay. I liked it well enough. I did like at the end, too. I love how in the second Doctor era, right at the end, the Doctor and the Tardis team kind of just slip away when nobody's looking at the end. You know, it'll pan over to guest characters talking, and, what do you think, Doctor? 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 And they're gone. That happens so much in this second Doctor, and I love it. I love it. And then I think it's funny that to stay in continuity, they remembered it was raining outside, so when they run inside, the Doctor's like got his coat pulled over. It's such a second Doctor thing to do. He's got his coat pulled over his head, And they're making comments about the rain. Well, doctor, why did we have to go? Oh, you know, can't stick around. Things like questions, explanations, you know. In front of I love it. I love the second Doctor so much. Things like that. And then they run into the TARDIS and they're gone. I enjoyed it overall. I definitely think it's gone up in my estimation on this latest rewatch. A little long, but not much. Like, I don't even think it might have needed to have been a 4-parter. Maybe a 5-parter. Runs a little long. Has some simplistic points. I do love how the Doctor managed to trick the Ice Warrior fleet into the sun, which the Doctor wouldn't do now because he just killed a bunch of Ice Warriors. You know, it's always interesting how people blame Modern Who about how the Doctor's always, you can't do that, you can't take life. And then they'll be like, but the modern Doctors kill people all the time. Whitaker's Doctor kills people all. And even I talk about the lack of consistency with the 13th Doctor's morals sometimes. But here I am watching the second Doctor send an entire fleet into the sun without as much of a second thought. Now, in his defense, like he said, when the Ice Lord is like, you killed our entire fleet. And he's like, well, you were going to kill the entire Earth. So it's like he's saying, you know, you didn't leave me much choice. You were going to kill the whole Earth, so you brought this on yourself. And I like Troughton in that scene when he's kind of just, he probably thinks he's going to get killed there, and he's just like, yep, that was me. I did it. I like the part, well, Earth will still die because of the fungus. And the Doctor's just like, oh, yeah, we took care of that too. Love Troughton. And I mean, Jamie and Zoe are great in this. I really like the guest cast in this a lot. The kind of guy who's in charge of the base with the like grayish hair, he's really good. I still know him from something. I'll bet you he's in other Doctor Who's. I don't know what, but he looks so familiar. The girl playing Miss Kelly, I really liked her a lot. The cowardly guy, the more, again, braver guy that had the claustrophobia, I like him a lot, even if that's a weird out-of-character moment with the claustrophobia. But I guess phobias can just hit you like that. I did like the set designs as well. Like, in the areas when the guy's running through the tight quarters, a lot of time I like those sets. I thought the sets looked really good. The effect of the foam running around, very Furies of the Deep vibes there. Look really good. The balls coming up. I like the balls. That's a sentence I don't say very well. But the little balls that expand and explode to spread the spores, that's pretty cool. A pretty cool effect. Again, I like that episode 5 cliffhanger. And they also used that, well, one of the other cliffhangers early in the story too. So yeah, it comes across very effectively. I've realized that I wouldn't mind seeing this story colorized. I think it would look really good colorized. Because there's a lot of 60s stories I think inherently just look good in black and white, like the Mind Robber. I don't think the Mind Robber would look good in color. I think black and white really lends itself to it. But if they were looking at a Troughton story to do in color, and you figured they would do one of the complete ones, you know, some people might argue Tomb of the Cybermen. I like Tomb of the Cybermen in black and white. I think Seeds of Death would be a good one to do in color, actually. Yeah, like if I was the one to pick a Troughton story to do in black and white, I'd probably do the Seeds of Death. I think that's probably the best choice. Having just watched it, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I might even get that if they do that. So I'm curious to see if they'd go that route. But yeah, a very enjoyable story. I like the second Doctor era. And I have more of an appreciation for this story than I did before, which is nice. I can't remember if it was the second or third time I've watched it. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. So I want to know what you think of the Seeds of Death. So comment down below and let's talk about it. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. I also have all the other fun stuff down in the description as well. Links to the Patreon if you like my channel and would like to support my channel. Plus get access to extra goodies, early access videos that YouTube blocks, like my reaction to Space Babies and my reaction to The Devil's Cord, which I did film, of course, reacting to the episodes, and YouTube didn't like that. I also did a really good reaction using footage, like a lot of the other YouTubers do, where they edit in footage over it. I was so proud of that video for a Matt Smith era episode that I've only seen once before. I was so proud of that video, and then YouTube blocked it. So if you want to see that, it's up on the Patreon. I also want to give a shout out to a couple of my top tier patrons, Colin Coney and Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also have links to my Amazon wishlist and my Amazon UK wishlist down there as well, and my PO box is also down there. Most importantly, thank you for watching.